Good evening everyone and welcome to BSRT for this round 16 of the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. Over the next 3 races we'll be finding out who will be the champion of Season 7. I'm Adam Bath and alongside me is iRacing World Championship driver Alex Simpson. But first, winner of race 3 at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve last week, it's Andrew Woodhouse. Andrew, congratulations on your win, but we've got a championship to decide here tonight.
Yeah, thanks very much Adam, really excited about this one. Could be really good. David Baker has the chance to take the title. He has the championship lead of 176 points going into the last 3 races. Alex, he only needs to finish these 3 rounds tonight.
Yeah, I think David will be racing out there with that completely in his mind. Doesn't want to get tangled up in any kind of trouble out there, so I expect to see a very different race from David. Maybe if the qualification's gone well and he gets a good start, he might push for the victory and seal it after the first round. But I think we're going to see him play a safe race, races this afternoon.
Adam, technically 6 drivers can win the title tonight. Realistically, is the only one Simon Field that's got a chance?
Yeah, I think so, Andrew. The gap between David Baker and Simon Field is 176 points, and that is a bit of an unsurmountable gap. And Smolenski in third, he's 211 points back. I think the main battle we're going to see tonight is the battle for second place in the championship, because Field in second, Smolenski in third, Kraft in fourth, Stevens in 5th and Dan Hunt in 6th. They are all within 100 points or so of each other, so it's going to be tight tonight to see who is just going to get that second place.
Just want to say we're just watching Steve Burke doing some impressive driving. Who is that in the air? Andrew Whitehead. So a lot of guys are having fun out there on the final round of the championship tonight.
End of season atmosphere, Adam. We're going to a full season in season 8, and that should be really good. 30 rounds on their way, but we've got to get this championship out of the way. Just how exciting is this coming into the last rounds?
It's going to be great, Andrew, because it's a great British racetrack, Oulton Park in Cheshire. It's narrow, it's got really quick corners, and also it's got a smaller sized grid. We had 2 qualifying sessions unfold here tonight due to the small amount of pit stalls, only 27 available for this race. So sadly we do not know who officially is on pole position. In the main session, David Baker and Graham Carroll set identical lap times. So it's going to be interesting now as we head down to the grid just to see who is on that pole position.
It actually looks like Carroll has been given it, so I assume his second fastest time was the better lap out of the 2. So who's going to lead on the first lap down into Old Hall Corner? We will find out very shortly, and we are only seconds away from the grid. Alex, quick pick, one word.
I'm going to go with Carroll to win the race, but Baker's going to take the championship.
That was many words, but that's fine. Adam.
Baker
for me as well. But anything can happen on BSR TV. So we're about to see now as the revs are rising. Green light is on at Oulton Park. It's the final time this season that we start race 1, and Graham Carroll with the good lead down towards turn 1. He turns into Old Hall, and that's fine for him. Baker in second is coming under a lot of pressure from Smolenski. Remember, Smolenski can still win the title tonight, Adam.
Yeah, and he's going side by side with Baker as we head down towards Cascades for the first time, but he has to slot back into 3rd place. In 4th place is one of the Peterson Media cars. That is, who's that motor? It's Dan Kraft. So Dan Kraft, another good start for him as we head down to Ireland Bend for the first time. Smolenski is up into 2nd.
Everybody's clean as well. Alex through Cascades and the first couple of corners. Bit of contact at the hairpin. Nobody's spinning though, mate. That's a good start for these guys. Yeah,
great start. Good to see in that final round. As it looks like Baker just works his way back in front of Smolenski again there before the chicane. Very tricky around that section, and guys trying to go through that too wide further back.
And they're managing it, Adam, as well. Ben Palmer and Stephen Burke, all they were at least. Palmer shoves Burke onto the grass, and Dan Blake and Jim Flanagan, we saw them come to blows at Summit Point. They have a chance to battle each other again today.
Yeah, the 2 EOL cars seem to have magnets on each other. They always seem to be hitting each other. We saw at Watkins Glen and at Summit Point as well. So as we head through Druids down towards Island Corner for the final time of the race, in the first lap, it is Graham Carroll leading as we head down the front straight to complete the first lap.
Robert Graham trying to overtake Dan Hunt as well. Apex Racing TV, Oculus 360 going side by side. But look at the lead that Graham Carroll has. as we cross the line for the first time. 1.549 seconds. Massive advantage after the first lap.
Just goes to show Baker taking it a little bit easy out there. He doesn't want to throw it away on these first couple of opening laps here.
Battle for fifth unfolding now between Dan Hunt and Robert Graham. Robert Graham is managed to win a race for Apex Racing TV back at the beginning of the season at Donington Park. He is now going to try and shape up the Oculus 360 car for that fifth place as Dan Hunt runs way too deep down into Island Corner. Oh, a bit of contact there between Graham, and it's going to be more contact or not, just about keeping it clean. But look at this, look at the Lugnuts car in the background trying to get involved. That is Steve Walker. He won race 1 of the season a few months ago back at Donington Park, but as we head through the chicane and down towards Knickerbrook, they somehow managed to sort that all out.
That must seem like a lifetime ago, Alex, for Steve Walker winning round 1 of the season. Here we are on round 18. He's not won again, and his title challenge never really appeared, did it?
Yeah, no, I mean, he had a couple of opportunities, but yeah, alas, nothing really popped up. I mean, what he needs to do, though, is a job for Lugnuts today. Obviously, they're 267 points ahead of Peter Newman Media, so he needs to get up to those guys ahead of him and make sure that he just puts the points on the boards for Lugnuts and they can take that title.
Everybody is still, I believe, in the race. There's a couple of cars dropped off the back, a couple of spinners. I think Peter Newman, Gordon Wilson and Russell Laidler have all been dropped off the pack, so unfortunate for them, but they're still going. Nobody's crashed out of this race yet. Russell Laidler actually a lap down, boys.
Let's turn our attention to the battle for third place then between Alex Smolensky and Dan Kraft. Last time around, Smolensky did a lap time of 1:24.3. Dan Kraft lap 1 second slower, but that doesn't seem to have halted his progress. He seems to be right on the back of the Elite 220 car as we head down to the Ireland Bend and out up the hill down towards the chicane. We've got 13 laps still to go in this race, but this battle for third seems to be shaping up quite nicely.
Looks
in
like
the background.
Yeah, I'd say looks like some action further back. Sorry, there as we were stunned silence watching everything go on there, but still Robert Graham holding off Dan Hunt.
Up the hill then down towards the Water Tower and Druids Corner for lap number 3. Robert Graham seems to be holding this pack up a bit now. He runs a little bit wide through the first part of the corner, but manages to get a better exit in the second part. And as we head down towards Lodge, turn 16, the final corner, he's going to be on the defensive now. And I wonder if Dan Hunt is going to give him a little bit of a tap. He managed not to there. And as we head down the hill, Graham is definitely holding them up now, Andrew.
Yeah, he is, and if Daniel Hunt can get up the inside here into all the holes he can, he's left just a tiny amount of space. He tries to close the door on the Oculus 360 car. Oh, and there's contact, and you don't want contact there. Brilliant save by Graham, but that just bunches everyone up behind. So Hunt, Walker, Stevens, Palmer and Burke all in a bit of a train and doing really well, actually, Alex, to avoid each other there.
Yeah, good driving, actually, from all of them out there. Could have ended very, very nastily with a huge pile up there, and yeah. Oh, that's Walker
just the hairpin.
Nearly turning Hunt there, but Hunt managed to, use the front-wheel drive save. Lovely recovery. It just looked like a great drift in the end.
Yeah, it's the advantage of front-wheel drive, isn't it? And Daniel Hunt, who again had a poor meeting at Gilles Villeneuve last week, and showing better today, 6th place, but for a man who's won 3 races this season, as you mentioned before we went on air, Adam, it just hasn't worked, has it?
No, race meetings seem to come out of my mind. Watkins Glen, Daytona, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, they were all pretty unfortunate race meetings for him, even though he might have had a bit of success, like a race win or two. For the rest of the weekend, he might have had a bit of an incident or something, and that's what happens.
Sorry to interrupt, Adam. Flanagan and Burke were side by side there. They've got a right ding-dong going on, if you can catch that on camera. That's for 10th place, Adam, as they go down towards Old Hall. Flanagan's going to have a look.
Down the inside, and that's a good move, and will he allow it? Yes, he does. So, Jim Flanagan up into 10th place, Stephen Burke down to 11th, but Burke cannot rest on his laurels now because he's got another EOR car coming in his mirrors, that is Dan Blake.
Yeah, indeed, and like you mentioned earlier, where Flanagan goes, Blake seems to follow, and Alex, you've been in a lot of, you've had a lot of questionable teammates over the years, and just what was it like? Have you ever had a teammate who you just constantly make contact with in the races?
No, fortunately, so I wouldn't know what it's like to be to be fair, but
What
yeah,
must they be thinking in wheel-to-wheel combat with each other? Is it just sort of, oh, we're going to go for it, or is it bad driving? What do you think it's been for them?
Well, I think there's no rules within the team, so they just want to go and have a bit of fun out there. They're probably really good mates, and you know, race each other hard and have a good laugh about it. So I'm sure it's all in the good spirit of things, and as long as they don't completely wreck each other, there's no issues.
Battle for fifth heating up once again as we head down towards Lodge. Dan Hunt again right onto the back of Robert Graham. He got a fantastic run through the final corner there, but just runs a little bit wide, and that's probably going to affect his straight line speed as we come across the line. Let's have a look at the lap times. Robert Graham comes across the line. He does a 1 minute 24.7. Dan Hunt's lap about 4/10 of a second quicker than the Apex Racing TV car, but we're starting to see Dan Hunt get a little bit ragged now in his pursuit of the Apex Racing TV car in front.
Yeah, these two very similar for pace, it looks like. Been trading that fifth place throughout the race. Gap at the front is coming down slowly. David Baker, our championship leader, champion-elect possibly, he's got it down to 1 second. There's contact at the hairpin between between Hunt and Graham. Sorry.
Well, the first time we've said that tonight, Andrew, and as we head up the hill and down towards the Hislop chicane, Dan Hunt will obviously have more straight line speed disadvantage as a result of that contact. And look in the background, that's Ellis Stevens. Ellis Stevens has taken in 2 wins back to back at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve and at Summit, so he knows how to get it done this season after winning 2 championships a few seasons ago. So he seems to be right back on form, and I wouldn't count him out of getting involved in this scrap.
It's been Alex, we were talking earlier on, it's been somewhat of a rehabilitation project for Ellis Stevens this season. Last season he was had a bit of bad luck, but he developed quite an unfavourable reputation. But he's cleaned it up well, and he's driving as well as he has done for many seasons.
Yeah, like you say,
seems to round the outside of Graham. Sorry, Alex.
Seems to knock that on the head, and these guys having a right old battle into turn 1. Graham's going to try and get this place back off of Hunt. As long as he can carry the speed through the corner, he should have it. But actually, great move from Hunt
Walker.
there.
Yep, here comes Steve Walker down the inside. He's managed to get past Graham as well as we head down towards Cascades. Graham launches it back up the inside. He's going to shove him out wide, and this is going to allow Ellis Stevens to join the party as well.
And you know he will.
Down towards Island Bend, then Graham all on the defensive. He gets hit. He's going to go. Oh, no, he takes Dan Hunt out. Once again, Dan Hunt is the victim of misfortune. He is now facing the back of the pack, and he's going to be tumbling down the order now. 14th place.
To be honest, it was Graham's own fault, Adam, because he was weaving in the braking zone. I don't know what you made of that, Alex. Obviously, that's usually a no-no.
Yeah, I think do you know what? I'll just take a little replay of that back, see that again. A little bit unsure of how it all panned out.
Of all the people, Adam, that have just had bad luck, as you mentioned, it just doesn't seem to be working for him. Dan Hunt, I mean, that's just terrible luck. He was already clear of that pack by a mile, wasn't he?
And what were we saying just before that move happened? Ellis Stevens could join the party, and he has. He's now up into 5th place.
He has indeed, and he's only about 10 seconds off the lead of Graham Carroll, who's actually under a lot of pressure from David Baker. Alex, sorry?
I've just taken a look at the replay back now. I'm not sure he was moving around too much in the braking. He was just sort of trying to get his line, if anything, and I think he was being nudged from quite a way back, actually.
Right. That's why he moved.
Yeah, so it's just all a little bit unfortunate, but there were 3 cars battling really hard, so you'd have to call that a racing incident. And once again, Dan Hunt, victim.
Well, once Graham got on the grass, mate, there was nothing really much he could have done anyway.
So
up front, starting to look a little bit tasty now, looking at Dave Baker, just 4/10 of a second behind Graham Carroll here.
Last time around, he was 6/10 of a second quicker than the Apex Racing TV car in front of him. Apex Racing TV have only won 1 race this season. That's a shadow of their former selves. Last season, Wojciech Savidovic guided them to the championship and a whole load of race victories at many circuits. As we head through Druids, we've got 8 laps to go here. David Baker half a second behind as we head down this hill and down towards Lodge Corner once again.
Yep, and the top 13 cars only separated by 14 seconds as well. So not only is this battle for the lead hotting up, but the whole field's behaved themselves fairly well today. As what's Baker's mindset here? What does he do?
I think he's going to go for it. I have to say, I think he's weathered the storm in those first few laps with Smolenski behind him, felt the pressure, didn't want to make the mistake now. Those knees have stopped knocking, and he knows he's in a good place, and I think if he gets a little sniff, he'll have it up the inside.
And this is a bit of an anticlimax because Simon Field has not even entered this race, so we are now looking at the champion-elect for Season 7, and now David Baker can just race because he knows that he's got the championship sealed.
Pretty much. I mean, all he has to do is get to the end here. Doesn't want an incident, but Alex, when you are so close to taking a title, done it several times the last few years, what's the... is going on the attack the best way to get the nerves out of the way?
Yeah, actually, I think he's in the best place he wants to be right now. Behind the leader, putting all the pressure on, he can just enjoy his race. And if, like I say, if he wants to go for a move, he can do. If he just wants to sit there, he can do. The race is totally in his hands. So, best place to be. Nothing worse when you're trying to win a championship and you're being hounded at the front, and you're trying to deal with the pressure of both the race and the championship. So yeah, Baker will be loving it out there right now.
I know last week, I felt quite a lot of nerves and things like that, and maybe it would have been better to be attacking someone from that standpoint. But look at this battle between Ben Palmer, Steve Walker, and Robert Graham was there. He's dropped off back into the clutches, actually, of Stephen Burke, who's down the inside into Old Hall Corner, and they nearly make contact, but somehow not. And actually, Dan Blake gave him a little tap up the bum for good measure.
Yeah, of course, if you take that inside line through the first corner, which is Old Hall, you're obviously going to have a speed advantage.
Stevens off.
Yes, that is Ellis Stevens off. For a second off was Smolenski, but it is Ellis Stevens off. He is now down to 7th place. He was running in 5th.
Gonna have a little quick look back and see what. Oh, miles off the track down into. I'm not sure which corner that is. It's the one after Cascades, isn't it? But although that is Cascades, isn't it? He went miles off the track. He almost went on the Foster's circuit. He was that far off.
Oh, he just got himself all out of shape there, going into the corner. Yeah, he was fortunate not to lose the car, otherwise he could have lost a whole load more places. But yeah, just the two, and he's got a chance to catch up to Ben Palmer and Steve Walker and put those under pressure again.
James Ellis, Adam. Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh, so I was just going to say there's a chain third place. Dan Kraft has now moved up to third past Smolenski. I don't know what happened because Smolenski just moved out of the way and just seemed to give the place to Dan Kraft. So I don't know whether he had a slowdown penalty or something, but anyway, chain for third.
With the demise of Simon Field, the reason why he's not here tonight, I don't know, but more of a shame for Ellis because he had the chance to get second in the championship. So these two positions heading into the reverse grid race, he's going to have the advantage over Smolenski and Dan Kraft. He maybe could have done with that 5th.
Yes, of course, every position counts. We saw with Dan Hunt winning is not enough. And he's now currently sitting in 23rd place, by the way, so another awful evening for him. But we've got to get those points in. We've seen time and time again in the Teams Championship how Team O in previous seasons have managed to get all of their cars home to the finish and win the Teams Championship by absolute miles. So Ellis Stevens, even though he only lost 2 positions as a result of that minor error, he might be cursing himself because he knew he might have been able to have got a top 5 finish.
Laura Bond was in the wars tonight. Dan Hunt won't be scoring any points. John Roberts looks like he's had a bit of misfortune as well. But in general, everybody's, this is the best attrition rate that we've had in this season so far as Baker goes a bit wide, makes a little bit of a mess at the final corner. And Alex, what's your gut feeling for David? Is he going to go for it?
I think he'll... I thought he was, but I think he'll wait and see if there's a tiny little mistake or anything like that. I think if Carroll puts the wheel wrong, then he'll go for it. But if he doesn't, he won't try any kind of lunge or anything like that. It's just not worth the risk for him.
He seems to be settling into the wheel tracks of Graham Carroll now. He's lapping fairly consistent lap times, almost exactly the same as the Apex Racing TV car that's leading. But the main battle at the moment is a battle for 5th place once again. Ben Palmer seems to be holding up Steve Walker in 6th. And Ellis Stevens is joining the party as well. Maybe he might be fortunate once again with these two taking each other off and him benefiting as we head down towards Island Corner. We've got 4 laps to go in this opening race of the evening here in the final round of the BSRTC. Ben Palmer doing a brilliant line there, parking his car on the Apex and gets a shove up the back by Steve Walker. And as we head up the hill, I think Steve Walker's got a bit of an advantage now.
Walker's got a bit of damage on his car. not stopping and closing right in though on Ben Palmer, and Ellis is there as well. He's looking, he could still get that fifth, Adam, definitely, with just a couple of laps to go.
Let's have a look at the lap times. Ellis Stevens was lapping almost a second quicker than Ben Palmer last time around, so that shows you how much of a defence the AMD car is having to put up as we head through Druid. Steve Walker trying to take a different line to the AMD so that he can get a good run on the exits, and he does. Let's see what happens now as we head down towards Lodge Corner, the final corner. Down the inside goes the Lugnut's car, and I think it's a done deal. Yes, it is. Down the inside goes Steve Walker. He's up into 5th place, and will Ellis Stevens try to get 6th away from Ben Palmer as well?
Sure he will if he gets the chance, as Palmer still pulls to the inside, but he's not going to be close enough to try and defend that position. So Steve Walker retains that 5th place. Just talking about David, actually, David Baker looks like he's going to win this title. What's the difference this season, Adam, from last season in his pace? Because yes, you could argue that Wojciech Savidovic isn't there and Rushworth isn't there, for instance, but Baker's made a definite improvement.
Yeah, I think he's just built upon his consistency. We saw last season how he seems to finish in 6th place every time, but this season he just seems to improve even more. And even though we haven't got the likes of Savidovic and Rushworth in the championship, he's managed to build on it even more, because he hasn't won as many times as, say, Dan Hunt. He's only won twice this season, and those race victories were at the beginning of the season. But ever since then, he seems to have finished in the top 5, in the top 10, and that seems to be what has got him to the lead in the championship, and hopefully if he keeps it on the island for the next 2 laps or so, the championship for this season.
Literally on the island. It's the island circuit here at Oulton Park. I think with David as well, I think the key to the championship, the more I see it, is a good race won. It was the same with Savidovic last season. You have a poor race won, Alex, it just sets you up for a bad meeting, doesn't it?
That's exactly that. I think, you try and drive perhaps a little bit too hard in the 2nd and 3rd races, and that's where we see a lot of mistakes start to creep in. Yeah, a good race just sets you up nicely, and it's becoming so much easier to get into your rhythm and get some good results out of the whole weekend.
So then we've got just over 1.5 laps to go in this opening race of the day here at Oulton Park Island Circuit, and David Baker seems to be onto the back of the Apex Racing TV car now as we head through the Hislop chicane and down towards Knickerbrook. I think he's got a bit of reserve in his Lugnut's car, Andrew. I think he's setting him up for a move on the final lap of the race.
I definitely think if he gets the chance, he's going to go for it. Trying to effectively win the championship in style here, and actually, if he wins this race, I believe with Smolensky where he is, he's definitely going to win the title. So Baker knows, and in fact, 2nd place would be enough as it stands, no matter what.
So then over the line to start the final lap of the race here in the opening race of the evening. This time around, Graham Carroll does the lap time of 1:25.024. David Baker lapped a 1/10 of a second slower than him, so he is still lapping consistent lap times. But as we head through Cascades once again on the final lap, he needs to start setting up the Apex Racing TV car so he can get that victory.
Is he going to get the move done into Island Bend, Alex, do you think?
I'm not sure. Just looks
like
a little too far back, I think.
Out of the corner, David Baker just had a bit of an inside line, so it didn't seem to work, and that's going to cost him straight line speed wise as we head down the back straight down towards the Hislop chicane. The gap between them 1/2 second now, so his opportunity is next at Lodge Corner. So set him up through this left-right section, then right again up the hill down towards Druid's Corner for the final time. This is where you need the straight line speed so you can pull up on the car in front. David Baker, I think, is just too far away to get a move done right now.
Yeah, Dan Kraft is under pressure from Smolensky as well, but that's not going to matter too much at the moment, as Carroll over the crest, out with Druids and down towards the final corner for the last time. We'll see. Yeah, Baker's not going to do it. He knows that 2nd place is going to do it. So, after 15 laps of Oulton Park Island Circuit, we have a new champion in BSRTC, and it's David Baker for Lugnut's Racing, and that is well deserved. Alex and Adam, that has been a fantastic season from him, and we're not done yet.
Yeah, great drive by David Baker throughout the season. 2 race victories, and I'm sure he wanted to add a third race victory to his collection, but I'm sure he's got plenty of opportunity to do that. But in the rest of the evening, we've still got 2 races to go. Dan Kraft finished in 3rd place, Smolenski in 4th. Steve Walker got 5th place in the end. However, he was 18 seconds away from the top 4. So the field split into 2.
And Plumley, Adam. You could have almost thrown a blanket over those guys over the final corner. Sorry about that. Sorry to interrupt, but exciting action all the way through this field. Really good race one. One of the better ones.
Yeah, very good race one. We saw battles all the way through the field and a little bit of contact as well, but we expect that in the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. Rounding out the rest of the top 20 then, in 6th was Ellis Stevens, 7th was Ben Palmer, 8th was Jim Flanagan, 9th was Robert Graham, he was running up in 5th at one point. Then in 10th place it's Stephen Burke, 11th is Julian Janowski, in 12th was Robert Plumley, 13th Dan Blake with Paul Smith in 14th place, 15th was Andrew Whitehead with Eckhart von Glan in 16th, Peter Newman in 17th place, 18th Colin Steele, and then rounding out the top 20 it's Gordon Wilson and Russell Laidler.
I'm certain that makes David Baker the champion. I believe my maths is correct there. So he was 211 points ahead of Smolenski, and there's only 200 available for the final race, and he beat Smolenski here. So we have the new champion. I wonder should we get him in for an interview? A quick one?
Yeah, let's see if we can get a word with David Baker. And David Baker joins us in the commentary box now. Well done, David Baker. Congratulations. You are the champion for Season 7 of the BSRTC.
Oh, cheers, guys. Cheers, guys. Yeah, shame Simon wasn't here to fight for it right to the end.
Well done, mate. Excellent. A good race again here. Yeah, it was a shame that Simon wasn't there, but I believe you had every chance of taking the title anyway, regardless.
Yeah, you never know what can happen in these races, though.
Second place, though, behind Graham Carroll. You said he drove a faultless race.
Yeah, I think he made like one mistake braking late into the hairpin or something like that, but there was just no way past him. An absolutely faultless drive from him. I think we tied on the pole lap as well, so he certainly put up a very good fight.
What was your mindset going into that race one? Were you desperate to get past Graham Carroll, or were you happy staying in second place?
Oh, I was trying my best to get past him and get near to him, don't get me wrong, but I'll certainly be happy with taking the second.
Okay, what are you planning to do for the rest of the evening? Are you going to go out for more race victories, or are you just going to settle back knowing you're the champion now?
Oh no, it's all about trying to move forward in these last few races. I think we've still got a good chance of winning the team championship. I don't know how everybody else has done, so anything I can do to help that and make it 3 in a row on that would be the icing on the cake.
We'll keep an eye on you because we know you'll be going hell for leather. Well done, mate. Excellent.
Cheers, guys.
David Baker, then, our Season 7 champion, and Adam, very dominant in the end.
Yeah, we start to see at the beginning of the season the championship contenders emerge, and then in the middle of the season they start to pull away and gain a huge points advantage like David Baker has done this season. We saw with Savidovic last season how he managed to do that at the beginning of the season and extend it through the middle. So David Baker, very consistent driver, and I think he's a worthy champion. Yeah,
agreed. Alex, have you got any words on Baker? He was pretty flawless, wasn't he?
Yeah,
most of that season.
Just the same as what Adam really said there. You know, he drove the championship that he needed to do. He got got his early victories, got himself out in front, and you know, he had I think a little rocky race halfway through the season, and I think from there he just collected himself back up and realised what he needed to do. He didn't need to fight for the wins all the time, and you know, his consistency was getting them championship, and that's exactly what he's done. And he showed that again tonight. You know, he could have done a rash move or something like that, but knew what he needed to do, and at the end of the day, he's smiling now with the champagne.
Okay then, time for the reverse grid draw for the second race of the evening. The cars that finished in 15th to 20th place are eligible, and they are Andrew Whitehead, Eckhart von Glan, Peter Newman, Colin Steele, and Gordon Wilson and Russell Laidler. So over to you, Alex.
And everybody at home thought we were finished. We've got 2 reverse grid races left.
Right, so I've done my 3 dummy rolls. The main one coming up now is P16.
Eckhart von Glan. He'll go on to pole position then for the second race of the evening. Alongside him will be Andrew Whitehead with Paul Smith in third, Dan Blake in fourth, and Robert Plumley in fifth.
Fantastic. Eckhart von Glan. Well, he's been doing... he's done pretty much every race this season and he's improving all the way, and he seemed happy with the car in practice, so we're going to see if Mr. von Glan can do a good job here at Oulton Park. So join us very, very shortly. Boys, we've got a champion, and it's David Baker. We'll see you very, very soon here on BSR TV.